in all of this generally, is a security problem, isn't it?
That's right. The problem we face today is squarely a security problem. We did not observe failure in election management today. As I've said earlier, card readers were working, polling officials were trained, materials were complete, there was timely arrival of polling officials. We did not see in the aspect of the conduct of election in the real sense the flaws. But what we saw clearly was a security challenge. I give you another instance. When you get into Orolu local government, right, and you're heading towards the polling units, there's a long route that the three of them are on. So the first one, Ward 8, Unit 1, right, is on your right in the bush, and then the next one on your right is Ward 9, Unit 3. And then you move up to Ward 8, Unit 4. Now, before you get to that point, you will see retinue of security agents of all forms, soldiers, police, DS, all of that. But before you get to that point, you will see some people that are not security, young guys, that we are demanding for PVCs of people, which you have to show them before they allow you to get even to the point where you will enter the bush to go to the polling unit.
Very interesting, and study the report, the observer point of view for you. We have the national coordinator, the chair of Transition Monitoring Group, Dr. Abiola Akinade Afolabi, who joins us now on the program. Thank you so much. I know it's been a busy day for you. I understand that you're just returning from the field. Let's quickly get your perspective. What really happened today?
Well, I think it was quite challenging today, more than any other time. Very early in the morning, we got reports of arrest of some of our observers, and they were taken to police station, just like my colleague said. On our way to, when we got to Orolu town, we actually were caught in the middle of a lot of crisis. There were a huge number of people on the street, some of them crying, shouting that some people were chasing them away from where they were supposed, to vote. And we met some were badly beaten, some lost their shoes, which showed that.
But this violence were not. We didn't see this kind of violence on Saturday.
No, not even in recent times.
What do you think could have caused this?
I think there was a lot of tension, and was probably some of them were perpetrated by political parties. We had them saying that people from the other side were asking them who in particular, because we wanted to know whether they would be able to mention a political party, but they were just saying people from the other party. So I think that the political party really didn't help this election. I think they saw it as a do-or-die affair, and they put in all their strength to make sure that they perpetrate violence. Kajola in particular. Kajola had a lot of issues. People cannot even access, people were being prevented, observers were being prevented from going into Kajola. So we had a lot of bad reports coming from Kajola.
And we all have also on set here the man who took charge of this election, the resident electoral commissioner of Osun State, Mr. Olusegun Agbaje. Thank you so much for coming on the program. And before, let me quickly get to ask you a few more questions. On this one, Dr. Akinade Afolabi, where did it go wrong? From your own point of view, if Saturday was credited to be perhaps a free and fair process, how would you describe today?
Well, I wouldn't say this is peaceful. I wouldn't say it's free, and I wouldn't say it's fair, given what we saw on the field today. There were a lot of issues. There were people who had other people's PVC, and they were holding it at the. And people were asking them for their PVC, and all. So there were a lot of things that can be seen as the good, the bad, and the ugly. There were also good points which we should take away. INEC officials were actually there promptly, and they also had national officers who were also there to ensure that things actually went very well. I was at Orolu, and I was in particular at Bogbo. And the presence of INEC officials actually made things work very well there. There was a huge presence of the security agents there, but that's notwithstanding. You could also see a lot of stand-looking guys around the place.
Are you surprised? If you look at these 7 areas where the election held today, the INEC did come out to give a report on the reasons why election are cancelled in these areas because of abscondment of election official there, because of violence. Are you surprised this kind of thing is happening in this area? Perhaps they are notorious in that area for this kind of reasons.
Well, I think the location also is problematic. It's problematic in the sense that it's a very hard-to-reach area. The roads are very bad. Most vehicles got stuck and all that. So for people to even be able to get there, you have to go use Okada and what have you. So that would be a reason. But I think most importantly, the political parties actually played a very strong role to perpetrate violence in that area.
Let's get the rec now. We've been getting observer assessment. Let's hear from INEC. Today is another very interesting day for you. Perhaps your task is not over until after the announcement has been made. From the reports that you heard, what's your assessment? If it's fair for me to ask you that question.
It's nice that you're asking the question. What I would say is that in a situation like this, when you have a standoff election like we are having, like we had on Saturday, we are supposed to also have people that are not supposed to be here during a general election involving all the states will naturally come to the states. Same thing happens to security. Same thing happens to all other components of the election. And now that you're also having a very small election, it's also expected that you are going to have a lot of party leaders, party stalwarts invading such areas. So that may also...
So you are not surprised?
It's not a
surprise. This kind of
if you are having general election,
so if they say that Saturday was free and fair, and they say today is not peaceful, are you worried?
The same thing if we had a general election. What happened on Saturday too, where we have so many people in the state, so many politicians in the state who are not supposed to be here, if all the states were having an election on the same day, we are here. So now that we have a very small number of polling units to contend with, definitely that you are going to have a lot of people also wanting to get it there to see things done there in their favor on the other side. So I'm not surprised.
So as it stands today, some of the reports that we heard, especially with the use of the card reader, that people brought forward PVCs that were not theirs, and the card reader, there are a lot of issues of malfeasance in the process. The report that you had, what went wrong? We
have said earlier before, we have warned politicians that anybody who brings PVCs that are not meant for a particular polling unit cannot vote there. It's not impossible that politicians brought people from other polling units thinking that we have been lying to them. Now they saw that if we bring another PVC not configured to that particular polling unit, it will not work, and that is what we saw today.
Because we know that INEC has a central portal where you will see the work of all the activities on the card reader. Did you detect that people were trying to use PVCs that were not for those polling units on some card readers?
That's what I just said. There are people that are not meant for that particular or those 7 PUs came there to vote, but in many of the areas, people turned them back because their cards could not be read.
How would you say this has went today?
For me, I think it is it's free generally.
But do you think it's fair?
But we have some problems, issues here and there. You cannot do this type of thing and not have some problems here and there.
Do you think it's peaceful and fair?
To a large extent, it's because we have security all over the place. So that you have somebody that said that they are cutting somebody's head, it's not a serious matter to say that the thing is not peaceful. It is peaceful. We have, for instance, in Osun, I was made to understand that the tenants in that area, landlords in that area, particularly ask for heavy presence of security because they are afraid that thugs are likely going to invade their areas. Therefore, they invited security to be heavy there. So that is what informed the large number of security.
So it's about 7:30 now. When are we expected to hear the final results?
We will start collating. We have 2 local governments. We have 4 local governments. We have Osun local government. We are still expecting if a south and if a not local government area. If a north may not get onto us until about 9 o'clock.
All right.
Because of the terrain of the area, very bad terrain.
Okay. Mr. Olusegun Agbaje, it's a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you the very best. It's been a long one for you, and I hope your day will be over very soon. Thank you so much. Dr. Abiodun Afolabi, thank you also for talking to you. So we told you that we are live for you. We have our eyes here at the collation center of INEC, here at the INEC headquarters. The room is there for you, and we are here live, and we'll bring you the live pictures as soon as the collation resumes. So the INEC record told us that we have some local governments and we're expecting more to come live here on Channels Television. Here to stay your reliable source for for politics and news in general. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us. Nation's news headquarters. Thank you so much for talking to us, everyone. I'm sure Kimale, on behalf of the team here at Osogbo, for following the election. Bye-bye.